a cheap, I call it a cheap shredder lick for you. A cheap cheat of a shredder lick. Not a whole lot of phrasing or musical value in it, but it'll get you where you need to go. So I came up with this just as like a warm-up thing. I was sitting in front of the TV, and I couldn't get my pinky the way I was leaning back. It was going to hurt like my wrist. So I just, instead of doing that, I just used these 3 fingers, and I started running up the pentatonic scale like chromatically. So I'm going from like the 5th position to the 1st position to the 2nd position, and I'm just going back and repeating what I'm doing already. So I'll start on 3, 4, 5, and I'm picking every string once and hammering on twice. So 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, and then go back to 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, and go back, and go 7, 8, 9, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10. So you can mix them up however you want. You just gotta, whatever you're playing against, whatever groove or backing track, just find where you can land on the one at, and then you'll know how many times you can go back and repeat the same kind of phrase or do whatever. So it's just all about hammering on cleanly. I don't know how cleanly I played it in that intro, but it's easy to make 2 hammer-ons sound like 1. Like you don't want like that kind of thing. So you want a cleaning. You really gotta nail your middle finger down. That's kind of the key. As long as you mash down your middle finger hard enough, that note will keep ringing, so it won't blur with the 3rd note you hammer on. So anyway, it was just real slow. It'd be a. You can finish it however you want. And it's a good thing to practice it with a metronome. You know, it's a good way to warm up your hand, but it's also a good way to practice your hammer-ons. You could also pull off if you wanted to. That's much harder. You know, getting those clean, that's a trick in itself. And then you could do it backwards. You know, you could descend. It's always a good thing to do. Everything you do going forwards, always do it backwards. You just don't want to, because you don't want to be trapped just in one spot and not be able to go back. So you could run it up. So it's just something to think about. I thought it was a cool little lick. It can get you where you're going, and just understand that when you see a pentatonic scale, every note that you're not hitting is a note you can use. You can use it as a passing tone, as a way to slide in, to slide out, to bend to a note. Just because all you see is 7-5 or 8-5, 8-5, 7-5, 7-5, 7-5, 8-5. I mean, you have all these notes. You know, some of them you just don't want to land on. See, like right there. You know, and each one kind of gives you a different sound. This is where you get into that kind of mode kind of thing, but it's just, you know. Like I just used every note behind the 5th fret, on the 6th fret, and like on the 8th fret. I mean, just as long as you don't hang on it. Like you don't want to play a note and go like, you know, unless your next chord is an F, you know, you just don't want to hang out there on it. So just use it as a passing note. That was a poor example, but it's also a good idea to see how the major overlaps with the minor. And then you can see that all these notes come from somewhere, and they can all be used. And that's just the rabbit hole you got to go down and have your own journey with. Nobody can really teach that to you. You just got to explore. So explore, have fun, practice slow.